Okay, so I just want to clear up at least my personal perspective on this controversy. That it's not really a controversy, but it looks like, or I'm sorry, I watched the Candace Owens response video. It was on X, and she clarified a few things that I got wrong. So I thought that Ben Shapiro was a part of the management staff at the Daily Wire. That is not correct. There is another guy who is a CEO, and it looks and also it sounds like Ben Shapiro lives in Florida. Candace Owens and the other Daily Wire people seem to live in Nashville. She was basically talking about how Ben and herself disagree actually on quite a few issues. And I've seen this too. Like the members at the Daily Wire, they don't actually feel politically the same on there are like quite a lot of examples where those people who are all conservative, they like differ on certain issues. Like they don't all walk in the same political, or how can I say, they don't have the same thoughts and opinions on like foreign policy or vaccinations or so the point I'm trying to make is there's diversity amongst conservatives, and that's a good example. um Another thing I thought was interesting, though, that was kind of strange. So she mentioned that she didn't actually, or that Ben Shapiro has not actually reached out to her at all since this like controversy has started, and that she was basically getting the feed at the same time as everyone else. So that means that she, woke up in the morning and then basically was like hammered with this information about like her colleague saying this really shitty stuff about her and calling her stance, calling her disgraceful and saying all of these things. And as like a black woman, I want to just say I really feel for her, and I think we should acknowledge how that probably took a really big hit on her mental health. Because like, first of all, Candace Owens is in a really vulnerable place. She's like extra pregnant right now. And also I feel like she has quite a lot of respect for Ben Shapiro as like a person. And I don't think that anything that she said has been anti-Israel or anti-Semitic. I just don't feel that way from everything that I've heard. But there's no reason for her to feel the same extreme and intense feelings that Ben feels because he is Jewish and she is not. Um, I feel like some of his comments may just be coming from a place of hurt, which is a possibility. But like after like kind of like watching that like his response again, it doesn't feel like that. I feel like he's actually thought about it a lot and really feels that like what she said was disgraceful. Um and I think that this is like one of the hard truths that I've had to come to, and it's getting at this idea that like we can't all live together. I know a lot of people want to like advocate for peace and stuff like that, but it's like another one of the reasons why I personally plan to leave American society. Like I don't think it's the right one for me. They're just way too like, I understand if some of the things, the sort of cancellation, and I saw other people. Let me go back for a second. There were some other girls, especially like white girls on YouTube, who were making videos. They were like, the end of Candace Owens, this is the end of her time on the Daily Wire. It's like people were coming for her neck immediately. She didn't even actually, in this case, she didn't even do anything that was like that was like really bad. It's like, and they're like already making like the end of Candace Owens. And I remember the same thing actually had happened with Kidology, where I think she was talking about like fem cells, or she was talking about something that like black women's experiences in the developed world are already extremely like marginal, no matter what walk of life that you're from. So you're not getting the experience that's like ideal. You're kind of getting like the second class experience. And so you're probably going to have like some I mean, if you're a critical thinker, you're gonna have like some objection, right, to the second class treatment. And so black women getting on here and like talking about that is gonna be like unpopular. Like it's gonna be unpopular because it is the marginalized experience. Like that's what it is. It isn't like the ideal experience of everyone liking you. It's the other one. So that one's gonna be like not so fun, right? But the really strange part is like everyone else kind of trying to dox you just for talking about like the real thing that happened to you. Like everyone isn't going to have the same experience and everyone is not going to agree on certain stuff. It's like the way that a lot of people expect me always to like stand up for like trans and issues and LGBTQIA issues, and it's just like I just don't. I'm sorry. Like I'm not like anti or anything, but like I saw something. I don't know why this keeps coming up in my feed, but it's like a whole bunch of gay people who keep making these videos about God. God told me to be gay, and God told me to be gay. I mean, I'm not like. I really have no idea about like why people feel the. I think that words mean things. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And I think at any point you can like clarify what your values are and what your values are not. At any point. So like if yesterday you kind of felt like, oh, I am Christian, but tomorrow you're like, actually, I'm a Muslim. Like whatever your values are, you can, and it's okay also to be like undeclared, to like not really take a stance on stuff. Everyone is not like sitting concretely in their worldview. I don't know. I just think it's just extra weird to it's just fucking extra weird. I don't even know what else to say. I think that Candace like handled the response very well. I feel like it was like understanding, like listening to her perspective and like hearing the way that like Ben Shapiro just completely came for her. It's really disappointing, honestly. Like I expected more from him. It's really disappointing. Like if you don't like your coworkers, like if he hates Candace or something, then he should be come out and say it. It's okay. Like whoever you hate, like for whatever reason, just I feel like you should just be honest about that because you don't have to like everyone, including your coworkers. Like I'm not the person who's gonna be here. Like you have to like all of them. No, you don't. No, you don't. Sometimes you don't like the people you work with. Sometimes they're gonna have competing ideologies. Like I'm saying, I've said this multiple times. There are many people. For some reason, tech is like the one industry where like racists love to harbor, especially like Indian people. Like they like Indian people like hate black people, but like black people work in tech. It's like they have to work with black people, and like everything just keeps going. Okay, like the companies don't just like shut down. Everyone just figured out. It's not really even like figuring out a way. It's just like you have things like microaggressions, okay? In this case, what Ben Shapiro did was a macroaggression. That wasn't a microaggression. Like microaggressions would have been like, I don't know, if he sent it via text message in a group chat, exactly what. And then, I mean, obviously we wouldn't know, so we wouldn't all be having this conversation. But because he said it like publicly, it was like real shade and a macroaggression. But the point is, for black women at least, you experience a million versions of those. And especially imagine if we didn't have Twitter and there wasn't so many people who were like supportive of Candace Owens, which is kind of like the case for most black creators, especially black female creators. And to have like those other white women who are like live streaming right now, like the end of Candace Owens, fuck her. I hope she doesn't do anything. She's like, I'm sorry, like at the end of the day, there will always be a Karen who's on the wrong side of history. You can bet your bottom dollar on